know, heat culture, Joy, he comes in third. Rudy Gobert's going to win this award. He should not win this award. He should come in second because the most impactful defensive player of the year was one Ben Simmons. We talk about what Ben can't do. We don't spend nearly enough time talking about what Ben can do. He has been, even more so than Embiid, the most impactful and important defender on the league's second best defense. The Sixers were never able to quite catch the Lakers for best defense in basketball. They had to settle for best defense in the Eastern Conference. Ben Simmons is the biggest reason why. He can credibly guard all 5 positions. He is going to be an absolute handful for Jimmy Butler in round 2, and then for James Harden, who I think he would guard in round 3 if they play them, or Giannis if they play them in round 3. So I think Ben Simmons should be Defensive Player of the Year. I would be shocked if he won it because Rudy Gobert's defensive VORP is just too high to actually watch Ben Simmons play and give him the award. But so Ben Simmons, Defensive Player of the Year in my book.
All right, good stuff. More awards to hand out. Coming up, we got to talk some Steph Curry first and his incredible stretch, capped off by dropping 46 in a win over the Grizzlies yesterday. So that wraps up the 8th seed for the Warriors. It also wraps up the scoring title for Steph Curry. Ja Morant walked away from that game super impressed, tweeting, MVP, no debate. LeBron also said Steph is, quote, the MVP of our league. More now from the King.
Just look what he's done this year. I mean, there's nobody, everybody counting him out this year. Everybody saying that, well, now that, Clay is hurt, can Steph lead a team on his own? What is he going to be able to do? Can he carry a team on his own? Can he carry a team into the postseason? Can he keep a team afloat? He's done that and more. If you're looking for MVP, if Steph is not on Golden State's team, then, what are we looking at? And we get caught up in the record sometimes. We get caught up in, who has the best record? And, instead of just saying who had the best season that year. And Steph has had, in my opinion, the best season all year. And it was the same, when Russ won the MVP. Russ was, first guy to have a triple-double in the season since the Big O. And everyone threw the records out the window then when he won it. And I think, you look at what he's doing, Steph is just like, Russ deserved it that year. And obviously, I don't think Steph is going to get it because, it's another conversation. But in my eyes, he's played the best basketball all year round.
All right, so Nick, Steph did have a good season. He did have an incredible stretch, but the Warriors are where the Warriors are. Is LeBron right that he should be the MVP, Steph Curry?
Listen, I don't think Steph is the MVP, but almost everything else LeBron said, his rationale for it, I agree with and I understand. Now, before I explain why, let me, I'm a pretty good LeBron James translator. And this, like a lot of his comments, are partially about the person he's talking about and partially about himself. So LeBron knows, like, for instance, in 2006, his team won 50 games. The second and third leaders on that team in minutes were Eric Snow and Zydrunas Ilgauskas, and he finished second in MVP voting to Steve Nash. In 2018, his team won 50 games. The second leaders in the team in minutes were J.R. Smith and Jeff Green, and he finished second in MVP voting. So when he's like, we get a little too caught up in the records, what would that team be without him? That's him advocating for Steph, and also, I think, retroactively advocating for himself. But while I wouldn't vote Steph MVP, what LeBron said in the middle part there is, to me, absolutely right and incredibly important. Steph did prove something this year that I think he proved more this year, Joy, than he proved the last time they won the title in 2018, that year with Kevin Durant. I think this year he answered the question unequivocally, is Steph Curry by himself an automatic playoff berth? And the answer is yes. And you might say, well, Nick, they're the 8th seed. They barely got in, and we'll see about the play-in. Well, yeah, But this team also played at a 48-win pace in the games he played in. They were 2-7 in the 9 he missed. They have no other elite or even very good offensive players on the entire roster. And Steph Curry was an offense unto himself. And last night or yesterday afternoon was a great example. They had to win that game. He said, I can do the Iverson just at a higher efficiency level. I'll take 35 shots to do it. He had the scoring title locked up minutes into the game. He wasn't gunning for the scoring title. He just knew this is how we can win. So I do think there was always the question, Joy, of, all right, we know that Steph is a better all-time player than Russ. But could Steph have done for the 2017 Thunder what Russ did? Say, get on my back, I'll win the scoring title, I'll carry us to the playoffs. And Steph answered that question this year as yes. So I understand his MVP case. He wouldn't get my vote. Chris Paul would. But I think everything else LeBron is saying there, to me, resonates quite strongly.
Yeah, I agree. This has been probably my favorite year of Steph's career because there was so much kind of disrespect before the season started about what Steph was really capable of. And he was like, sometimes you got to show everybody this is what I do. This is what I do. And he did it. So I love it. I say he's 1A to CP3 because, in my opinion, Chris Paul is the MVP. Because to me, Chris Paul represents a mixture of everything that we use to evaluate what the MVP is. Everything that LeBron just said makes sense. And I do think the record should count for something. I mean, the criteria for who the MVP is changes every single year, and it maddens me. And I don't like having the conversation about what happens in the postseason because it's a regular season award as well. But if you just focus on the word value, who has the most value to their team? Obviously, that's why I put Steph at 1A, because Steph has proven how valuable he is and how he can carry a team. But Chris Paul has the Phoenix Suns with the second best record in the West. They went from 19 to 34 to 51 wins. He is clearly the one who made that happen. He was the elements that pushed them into this winning state that they're in and making them into contenders. So if I'm going off of who is the MVP with a mixture of all the weird things that we use to create the criteria for the MVP every year, it's Chris Paul for me, but Steph is 1A. What he's done this year has been incredible. I've loved watching it. I've loved watching him shut the haters up, or people that say he's a part of that system, or people that say he's just a shooter. He's an incredible all-time great, and this was maybe my favorite year of his career.
Okay. I like Chris Paul as well, Joy, and I'm a little bit bummed out that LeBron didn't really rally any votes for Chris Paul because, as you know, the MVP is a campaign. And I think LeBron had a good opportunity to say, you know what, my guy, CP3, my banana boat buddy here, he deserves more votes. I wanted people to do that. He didn't do that. He got behind Steph, which is nice. Tinfoil hat theory, Nick. Get ready. If you have any Reynolds wrap, throw it on your head. This is just more of the year-long flirting between LeBron and Steph. Oh, love them on the All-Star game, giving them high fives. I think there's something to it. This is we've never seen, they're not wildly close. They're not close in real life. LeBron and CP3 are close, but Steph and LeBron are not close. But this is just another sort of a gold star on the compliment wall from LeBron to Steph. Do you think there's something else there brewing?
Well, I think you might be understating how close LeBron and Steph are. Need I remind you, they were born in the same hospital in Akron, Ohio. I mean, I feel like maybe those guys have been kindred spirits since birth. But I think that is maybe a slight part of it. People didn't watch the Warriors-Grizzlies game yesterday, the Warriors were up 16 points in the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden the Grizzlies were ahead with 5 minutes left, 97-95, and that was a critically important game because the loser falls to the 9, the winner stays at 8. And I was ready to send the tweet This is the type of fourth quarter that makes Steph Curry signing that extension this summer with the Warriors all that harder. Now, he was great. They rallied. Draymond had some great defensive plays. And now, assuming they don't lose to the Lakers and then also lose to the Grizzlies or the Spurs, I think he goes into this offseason feeling better than otherwise. So I still think Steph leaving the Warriors is, at least in the short term, is a long shot. But we can't have an MVP discussion without, and I had forgotten, I did know, but I had forgotten that Joy is also one of the few people that is on the correct side of the MVP discussion, arguing for